Oh, those sneakers.
Late. What are you talking about?
I'm in the middle of reading a poem, my dear.
Good, thank you.
And a hint of lipstick, and oh, those sneakers just made for dancing, as her handsome bob moved her to the beat, twirling her, whirling her heart racing with the giddy joy of all that life might bring. You're my best girl, Pat, I love ya. And their life together had been just so, full of love and squabbles. Children loved and mourned, dancing, travels, health and illness, and so much more. I saw her sitting on the porch, the setting sun highlighting creased cheeks. I ventured up the path, offered a smile, an introduction. She offered a seat. So, Pat, tell me about your life. I bet you got some stories here. That's my
Oh, well, well done.
Everybody's got a story.
Everyone's got a story.
Can you hear me over there?
We used to have poetry.
Yes.
Poetry. And also different stories in the books.
Yes, you had to write essays, remember? Remember writing essays at school?
And the reader, the grade 1 reader and the grade 2 reader.
Yes. Well, I wonder if this means anything to you. It's one of my little memories. It's called The Lady That Does. The Lady That Does was the cleaning lady. You've ever heard of the Lady That Does? She comes to your house and does cleaning. Sometimes, if you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
Yeah. This is one about the lady that does. She polishes, she vacuums, she dusts, and it's lovely. You can sit down and watch somebody else do the housework. Do you remember those days? No. We all did our own work, didn't we? We all worked very hard. Anyway, this cleaning lady, her name was Marge, and I can remember Marge very well when I was in trouble and I needed help in the house. And she came to the door, she knocked on the door, and I had to rush to the door because she began knocking, knock, where are you, where are you? I'm coming, Marge, I'm coming. And here she comes. When Marge arrives with a newfangled mop or some other essential domestic prop, it's clear that she feels it her duty to start her shift by demonstrating her God-given gift to talking. So Marge was a great talker. She should have got on with her work. But I knew when Marge came, she was going to talk a lot. She was the lady that does, and she wasn't cleaning. My problem is that I've learned not to say, how are you today, with Marge. But that's when I get what I asked for. But isn't that just what you say when you open the door with a simple reply, how are you? Sometimes when you simply say to somebody, how are you? And they jolly well tell you their life story. I did this and I did that and I did the other thing. So we say, how are you? Especially if it's somebody to help. The legs won't work as they used to. So each week I'm reminding, where would I be without her? Where would I be without Marge? She came and she helped me when I needed help.
I think I better follow her in my hearing aid.
You get your hearing aids. It's that how are you that's the ready, set, go, to be off and away, to tell me how her world is spinning, starting with her poor sore toe. She told me about all her problems, starting with her poor sore toe. I've seen the photos, got her phone out and showed me the pictures of her poor sore toe. And that it's certainly, thank God, getting better, although the pain in her neck's unfortunately not. And she's worried about her elbow joints. However, she says, I'm glad to know that she's taking a course of damnably expensive cream. And she showed me her sore parts. the expensive cream. And she was my cleaning lady. And she talked about all sorts of other things, not too much about cleaning. It seems her sister's not talking to her. Off she was go on another story about her, how her sister's not talking to her. It was something about her mother's will. So she desperately needs to get away from it all. Then bugger it all, there's the gas bill. She would tell me how the gas bill had come in, the electric bill had come in, and how they needed this and how they needed that for the house. Bugger it all, there's the gas bill.
I was looking for this.
Her voice gets louder as she speaks of the gall of cleaning company that pays her a pittance, and how one day she's bloody well going to say good riddance. She doesn't want this job anymore, they don't pay enough money, okay? But on a wet and windy day, when I must stay inside, Marge will be hovering about, overdue for a natter. What's a natter? Do you know what a natter is? And she's ready, I have to be ready for a story of woe or advice on many a medical matter. You meet people and they tell you all their troubles, their aches and their pains, and the operation. How was the operation? Heard all that before. Really, so I have to be ready for advice on many a medical matter. So, because she's a medical mystery with an intriguing history, a medical history. She can generously relate it all to me from the kitchen, calling out over there. Okay, when she's supposed to be cleaning. She calls out from the kitchen, where she walks away doing the cleaning that cleaning ladies do well, while I'm hiding in the loo, okay? Finding a place where she's not. I can't hear her when she talks.
I thought they were there.
I need Marge and Marge needs me. I've decided. She has the tongue and I have the ears, and though I'm far from a stealthy cat, when the lady that does pursues for a chat, I try to be more thither than hither. Try to get away from her. There's a little place in my garden that's a haven on a sunny day. Do you remember that nice sunny haven in your garden? Yeah, there's always a spot where it was sunny. You could go away and get away from everything. I've discovered that sitting there, I'm hidden from Marge, where the distant hum of the vacuum. You know those hum of a vacuum? We all know that hum. Where the distant hum of the vacuum cleaner becomes a meditative mantra. Ooh, it's gone. It's peaceful and quiet out in the sunshine, where I can breathe in and out slowly, feeling the Marge stress float away. And I visualize myself reclining languidly, lovely, with a wreath of blossoms around my hair, looking over the calmest sea that's not really there.
Where are you, boys?
So that's the story of Marge the cleaning lady.
Oh, that's nice.
Eunice, I'm sorry, Eunice. I've thought of you a lot, but because I've never known another Eunice, I haven't remembered. But that's Eunice. That's an old-fashioned name. Was it? Was popular when you were born. Anyway, this little... Of course. This little girl's name was Ophelia. And she was a little girl who lived next door to me at my house. And she had plaits. Remember plaits? Of course you remember having plaits.
Well, unless you were lucky enough to have naturally curly hair.
Remember your mother plaiting your hair?
Oh no, she didn't plait my hair.
Anybody remember their mother plaiting their hair? Down, pulling, you pull away like that. Anyway, Ophelia, I think she'd be about 6 or 7 in this story. And here we go anyway. Ophelia, her flying plaits swooped up and down and around above the fence line of my house. I knew by the squawks, the squeaks and the hisses, by her huffing and puffing as she tried to sing, that she was jumping again on her trampoline. And she was there I could see her over the fence. She was jumping at her trampoline. Then there was no sound until she knocked on my door. And she looked at me and she said, I've come to tell you something important. She was only this big. Her little body was doing those little girl jumps, which hands clasped together at her chest. Her mouth displayed burgeoning new teeth. You know how you get new teeth when you're 6? Her new teeth were coming in or growing down. Her mouth, I want you to get a kitten, she said to me. You really need a kitten, she announced, because you're lonely. She wagged her finger at me, so I copied her petulant pose. I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. We argued. You're lonely. I'm not. In a week, she said to me, you simply must buy a kitten in a week's time. I nodded no. She nodded yes. 2 weeks then. It was settled with her, not with me. She wanted the kitten. I didn't want a kitten. At the end of Ophelia's fortnight's allotted time, she knocked again on my door. Did you get it, she said. Get what? The kitten. Thoughts of kittens having as far escaped from my head. Her flushing face drooped to a pout. You know what a pout is? A little girl's pout. Her shoulders dropped to a slouch. There was no kitten in my arms, nor smooching at my heels. No one in a box peeping or purring on a bed of sunlight. So, of course, she started to cry. I hadn't got the kitten, and she wanted a kitten, and she thought I'd promised to get a kitten. And I said, she said to me, you're just like my mother. She stamped on the ground. She said, my mother hates cats. I wished I could share a cat with you. I really hoped that you were so lonely and needed a cat, and now I can tell that you're not nearly as lonely as me. She was an only child, no brothers or sisters, or not nearly as lonely as me. Anyway, a year passed by. Tilly, the tabby, arrived next door, the new kitten. Ophelia's teeth had grown and were perfectly straight, and a thick bob plate replaced her plaits. And she insisted that her name was now Philly because it rhymed with Tilly. She called her new cat Tilly. So she wanted to be called Philly. Though I rarely saw Tilly on her feet, she seemed to thrive in Philly's coddling care, a substitute brother or sister, until one day it was time for Tilly to wander. She was growing up. The knock on my door was louder, more urgent. Tilly was missing. Last glimpsed at my gate into the vast unknown of the world next door where I lived. And through her tears, Philly repeated over and over, my darling baby is gone forever, the saddest of all words to hear. Together we watched, waited and worried, listening for the sounds in the shrubs, for a kitten crying in pain, or maybe sounds of a wild boar grunting, which was the state of poor Philly's mind. She was very worried that she would never see her darling Tilly again. The little girl was silent. She held up her hand to silence me when I spoke, so still to leave her movements. How concentrating was her expression. Then, lying on her belly on my shallow decking, with one eye on the deck, she whispered to me, be silent. She was listening. She had seen a little light, then two beautiful cat's eyes, staring, surrounded in blackness, under my decking. For a long hour she lay there, refusing cake or juice for herself, though she agreed to a morsel of sardine to gently cajole Tilly from the small gap where she'd entered under my decking. Next, when I looked up from my garden nearby, everything was quiet except for a lullaby humming. Little Ophelia was holding her precious kitten that she'd found again. She'd been patiently, gently rescued from that dark gap. She was safe. I bent to touch her and stroke Billy's hair. She shrugged away from me and buried her face in tabby fur. I knew it wasn't my place. It wasn't my place. Sadly, it wasn't my place. It wasn't my kitten, and Tilly wasn't my little girl. She moved away, out of sight, to sit on a soft old garden chair, enveloped, away from me. And when I looked up again, she was sleeping. Okay, so she found, the little girl had found her Tilly. And probably it was her worst loss, that little girl. She'd never been so sad, I think, as thinking that she would never see her tabby cat again. And there you are. Patiently, she found her little cat under the decking. Okay?
Lovely story.
Do you understand the story, Ben? You did.
I did. I listened to every word.
I did.
Boys at 18 had to go into the army.
Oh.
It was that stage.
That's right.
I'm sure a lot of people would remember it. And so he was one that had to go in. And I thought it'd be a good thing for him.
Did he have to go to war? Did he? What?
No, it
just
was just
his
what they
his
did, what did
service,
they call
national
it?
service,
National
national service.
service when they used to have to go in because
The boys had to go
in
in
In the
the
1960s.
national service.
Yeah.
My husband did
Yeah,
too.
Yeah, there was a lottery.
I don't
Vietnam.
think there was
That's
a
right.
different
Mhm.
call.
Also national service.
Anyone else an only child?
Well, so did my brother. And then
You all
it
had brothers and
stopped,
sisters?
didn't it?
Yeah, I was up in Korea.
Are you
No,
an
he
only
didn't go
child?
for that.
Oh, that's
But I know a lot of boys that
I'm
did.
glad I've got a sister, because you can talk about the olden days.
The good old days.
The good old days.
Like an only child. Most of my childhood.
Everything was rationed.
Food was all rationed.
One
That's
night,
right, during the war times.
You had to decide whether to get butter or
She
cheese or
still
whatever,
lives
you know.
later, but she was the eldest of
You had your ration cards.
four, and it was always that story. And her father walked out.
I remember the coffee was different.
It wasn't so popular then, it was only just coming in Melbourne.
And this
What?
eventually where one
Ah, yes, but instead of coffee, we were given something else. What was the name of that stuff?
Chicory.
Chicory. Do you remember chicory?
Your memory's
Well,
good.
you don't want
Your
it.
memory's good, isn't it?
It wasn't until America came in, it's just given the
Yeah,
others.
it's got a good memory to tell a
Became a bit
story.
more-
Oh, very different. Yeah, very different.
Afternoon nap instead of school.
I can remember the chicory. You know, we used to have it instead of coffee. We had a drink.
chicory that
We made the chicory. Yeah. Hmm.
In the 40s, you couldn't get coffee.
You couldn't get it. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. It's and so it stays in your mind, doesn't it? Things like that.
And when we did get some coffee, we had to hide it.
trying to get that into
Quite a big crowd. There would be a lot of money.
make the coffee decent.
Got all the single tables.
Yeah, I did
Anyone
it.
due for a cup of tea?
Yeah.
We do have that every
Well,
Very close to afternoon
I came here
tea.
to stay for a holiday, for a break, not long ago.
it was only a couple of weeks ago.
We
Yeah.
visited you in here, remember?
That's right.
Yeah.
So I know all about it.
Yeah.
Have you been here?
I have been here.
Just a few weeks ago. Just a few weeks ago.
Respite. Respite.
Why haven't we seen you?
35 or 36 or something.
You weren't here. How long have you been here?
Oh, how long have I been here, hon?
Pardon?
How long have I been here?
I don't know.
Weeks or
It
months
was
or
the
days.
coming of winter. I know the winter hadn't started. We're still
I've been here 5 years.
Huh?
I've been here 5 years.
Oh, yes. No, I've only been here about 5 months or something.
That's right.
How is it?
So you would have been here. So you would have been here when Judy was here as
No,
well.
I don't remember. What's your name?
Werner.
No.
Werner.
Yes,
I
Werner.
go through this all the time. It's a French name
Yes.
that my mother had a cousin by this name,
Okay.
and she said, oh, I really wanted a name that was different because, you know, all her cousins and friends, and she was from a fairly large family, and they all had
French
the
name.
same
Right.
sort of name. Well, you know, they weren't to be rude. I mean, it was their prerogative, but she just wanted to have a name that was different. And I said, but I used to get mad when I was little
Yeah.
because, you know, they'd say things like, "Is that short for Veronica?" And I'd say, "No,
It's your own name. Did you ever meet another Werner?
no." Oh yes, I did. I didn't meet her, but my mother did, and she was a second cousin. And her father had come home from the war and didn't talk much about this girl, but her name was Veronica.
Ah,
Sounds very French.
yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Whereabouts did you get your watch?
Me, this watch, at a jeweller's in Centre Road, Bentley.
I bought this watch
Yeah.
in Japan. It cost me 2 and 6pence.
Oh, wow.
So I bought one for myself, one for my brother, one for each for my 2 sisters.
Same big watch.
Yeah,
When were you in
That was a lot of
Japan?
years ago you bought that.
What year were you in Japan?
it's in the 50s.
In the 50s, just after the
I
war.
was a Navy pilot. Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. I did Air Force training. Yeah.
But you were in the air thing, weren't you, jumping out of plane?
So you would have been in Korea around the time of Korea.
Were you with the SAS or something like that? Were you
In fact,
the
I think
forces?
it had been
A
sergeant.
doctor? Oh, a doctor
Just
there.
going over here.
Wow.
I'll leave it there.
Look at this one. Oh, hang on, I'll put my glasses on so I can see it really well. That's a wonderful one. Look.
Can anyone read or
Wow.
watch these days? Can you read your?
Oh,
Can you
yes.
see? Can you see?
Yes.
Oh, you've got
Gee,
good
it's
eyes.
fantastic.
You've got good young eyes.
Lovely, gold and silver.
Oh,
Yeah.
2 and
yes, it's
6pence.
easy to read
And what were you
though.
doing in Japan? What
I was flying aeroplanes.
Flying aeroplanes.
Navy aeroplanes.
Pilot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tell me
Was
what
the
I should
Korean
do with
War
that.
then? Okay.
What's wrong
Wow,
with
that
it?
must have been.
It's
scary.
digital.
You know what it
It's
is,
digital,
don't
isn't it?
you? Yeah.
Yeah. You might need a battery one of these days.
I think I was at the football or something like that, and we were laughing and going on, you know. And I felt this sort of, you know, how people are getting the same, bang into
exactly
everything. And this man walked away and he
I
said,
had that one.
"It's nothing that'll hurt you.
Oh, that's really
You,
precious.
you could
It
get a
doesn't
bit of fun
wind
out
up
of
like
it." But
shaking
it
it
really
by the
gave me
movement
the
on your
creeps.
hand. Yeah,
It really
yeah.
gave me the
One like that from my dad,
And
actually.
when my mother saw it, she really had a fit.
Wear it, but
Well,
as you
they
move
hardly
it,
Yeah,
saw
it
my
winds.
mother. I mean, we don't
That's
talk
a
about it.
wonderful
But
one.
as soon as he could make his way, he's quite clever, he got scholarships
worn it every day
all the
since
time,
then?
could have done anything.
Wow.
And he just wanted to travel.
get up in the morning.
And I don't think there was a place on earth that he hadn't been to.
Gee, so how many years?
And then, of course, he met his wife, and fortunately, we thought, oh my God, this is the finish,
Until?
unless he changes.
Haven't stopped.
Well, he did change quite a bit, in as much as
Planes from Moorabbin?
she's a very gentle person
Gee,
and
Pipers or
had
something?
looked after a sick mother for years. So she hadn't had a
Get one of the
lot
people
of
that know.
experience, I suppose,
Play any
with life.
movie.
But we all talked to her, she's lovely, but she's still a lovely girl. And she had children which he wanted, and Of course, we had children then, we had 3 then I think, and then we went on and had a 4th, I wanted another.
Now they have a big music
And so we've got 4,
They have a big
and
music
they
festival.
had 4.
The Dean Muster and all the country and western singers come and sing.
And they're all very, I mean, we're very lucky. The whole 8 of them are very healthy people,
Well,
yes.
thankfully.
Yes,
Birthday for them. That's
we're very blessed with them, you know.
There's going to be a lot of
They
candles
all,
on your
you know,
cake.
they're not genius types, but they're, a few of them have gone on and done a lot of study, including our lot. So we didn't have anything to whistle about.
Usually every month or not.
That's
But
a,
you do, it's amazing what people think would be wonderful and all that, and it's not always wonderful.
Yeah, I just
You only have to get one
Great
child
to see, yeah. Good.
wants a lot more attention than anyone else.
that's right.
And it really can
What's
sort
your
of
name?
spoil a family.
had 2
Ooh, that's a big exciting.
Margot.
so
M-A-R-G-O-T. Margot.
That's nice.
That was a popular name. We had
Can you tell
Margot's
us
at school.
something?
That's French name. See, the
They're
French
not your
name.
sons.
Werner,
They're your
Margot.
sons?
Singing with O.
Okay.
Very French.
Okay.
Lovely
And do
name.
they live here in Melbourne?
Yeah,
You know, apparently.
Did you have sisters, Margot?
I would say
No sisters, no brothers?
2 or 3 times a week.
One brother.
Fantastic.
Not as good as a sister.
They bought something nice like microwave or
You are a blessed
Margot and Werner.
child.
And then we're down the
Joy in
end,
your life.
we've got Betty, oh no, whatever her name.
Yes,
Hello.
I
just
think,
enjoy it, right?
yes, we're supposed to
How
catch
are you
up
over
here.
there? You're always very quiet.
Come on, come over.
Oh, too many people.
Yeah.
2 and 6, but that's a bargain.
Shy little thing. Shy little
And
thing.
last
Does anybody
I
sing?
had 10
Did
children.
anybody ever
And I
sing?
bought about 6 of them.
Sing in a choir?
Just
No, we
after
don't have a choir.
Oh, not here.
Not that big.
in the Jackson ordered
That
the
big, really.
It's funny how you remember the
Get
words of
established
songs.
in so
As soon as you start hearing them.
You sing in the church, you know. Yeah. Yeah.
anyway,
I was in
the
the
old
choir
leagues,
for many years.
Still going, I can
Choir,
see.
choir was my most special thing at school.
What's your name?
end of this month,
Some children
hey,